Like they got mad at me and they said I was inserting myself into something that had nothing to do with me. Yeah. Like, you can't say anything. This isn't about you, but you're all fighting. And the reason why you're fighting is about me. So how is this not about me?
Exactly. The whole argument was about the doxing of someone and the discussion of someone possibly being the hacker. So, of course, it was all about me. But I'm not the hacker.
There's this one channel. I don't know what she goes by, EK something.
Yeah, I know, I can't whistle.
And then they'll be like, you're doing that just like they do to the Duggars. And I'm like, I don't think it's the same. Like, I'm not in a cult.
Yeah, starting your own cult and being in a cult are two different things. This joke was almost too easy.
I feel like the anti-Katie community is more of a cult than I am.
See, I just told you I was a cult, though I clearly have a few things to learn from them, it seems.
So the police officer's justification for releasing it was that they redacted the information. And I said, well, they identified the redacted as me.
And the only way they could do that is if they had like inside information, like as if someone was feeding them all the information that could possibly identify me in the report.
I never identified myself in that police report. I didn't have the police report. So this is an extremely disturbing comment.
Exactly. I mean, that would be like taking the fact that I said something about a channel named EK something that's run by Aaron Costello, and you just assuming I'm talking about the channel EKC People Suck when I never identified that channel.
They literally posted their Facebook account and did not properly redact it. I didn't search it out. They put it out on their Twitter.
Exactly. I didn't put this shit on Twitter, and I didn't go searching it out. I mean, once I seen the redacted name there on Twitter, I had to really search. I mean, I had to really look for the name in the redaction, but I found it. And then once I found it, I had to go on Facebook and search for, look for that name and that profile picture that was also not redacted. And then once I searched, then once I found it, I then put two and two together, and then somehow it ended up on Twitter under my name. I don't know how that happened.
And then when I call them out, I'm the bad guy.
Because technically, that's all the doxing is, really, is just calling someone out. I mean, that doesn't make me a bad guy.
I don't watch their channels, actually. I've never seen half of their channels.
Yeah, that's Todd and Jesse Bear's job. They watch their shows, and then they type up the transcriptions for me, so I have something to read when I take my morning shit.
And apparently, that person is depressed and having anxiety. How do you think that that person has made me feel for months?
I'm such an empath.
It's probably my fault that they didn't properly block out their name. It's probably my fault that they decided to post an image of their own Facebook account on Twitter without their name properly blocked out. That's my fault.
Anyone would have done exactly what I did. It wasn't crazy.
I don't think that Emily Baker helped at all. And I think her coverage was detrimental and really disparaging to me.
Especially when she read our side's declarations.
That if she was going to cover this and have such a wide audience to cover it, that she have a balanced approach and a balanced access so that the audience could be given both sides without bias.
Well, it's true. I mean, you really do kind of need a balance when you're discussing something. I mean, you can't really appreciate truth without first hearing all the lies.
We presented her an option to have access to that so that she could provide both sides without bias, and she never responded.
Though we never did try to reach her through a sassy tweet. I mean, have you seen Brown's ass? Sass?
The way that the coverage was presented, it was so unfavorable.
It's like someone isn't familiar with the Karen statutes yet, where all facts about Karens must be favorable.
And she'd say that she was not talking to the other side, but she was talking to the other side. We saw thousands, hundreds of tweets back and forth between her and the other side engaging constantly.
Damn you, Salty, and your sweet sass.
If you're going to cover a case and tell your nerd people.
Whoa, what does she mean, your nerd people?
And build your audience on disparaging someone, and that person is offering you the option to have access to things that nobody else was having access to.
Yeah, if nobody else had access to it, some might even call that privileged.
And she gave life and breathed life into declarations that were defamatory and had literally no reason to be in the case.
And then she did the same exact thing for Salsy's declarations.
She owed me no response? Really? You guys are delusional.
You think I need to be owed something to get it?
She did way more than read documents. She gave light to declarations and to defamatory statements that never should have had any light in them.
Miss Baker, please remember that I'm just the translator.
I don't need to get anything right because literally nobody knows more about what happened in my life than I do. If any of you think that because of watching her, you know what actually happened, nobody knows. You guys know what happens in the filings, but you don't know what happens in the discussions that lead up to filings. You don't know what happens in the emails, in the phone calls.
Yeah, so maybe if you guys tried learning some of the privilege information, you might know something.
I absolutely dislike her, and she doesn't like me, and I think that's pretty obvious.
It's like she took all those threats of me suing her seriously.
We have so many times, we have so much evidence of reading things that were so unkind and rude about me.
Yeah, we collected that all as evidence because no one's allowed to say rude or unkind shit about people on the internet.
I have had to watch someone make thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars by interacting with all of these hater accounts.
Let me just save us all a few minutes coming up here, and let me just cut to the chase. You guys need to let me police all activity on the internet because I should and I want to. And yeah, anything said about me that is not to my liking is defamation.
After her family was threatened, do you know how many thousands of threatening emails I received?
Empath.
I'm sure she never actually brought up the fact she was mentioned many times in the court records. And if this case were to move forward, she would be party to a defamation lawsuit. And that's the truth.
Miss Baker, translator, okay?
No, I just muted the last 2 times because he was asking me a question and it was a private question.
Bitch, I'll take his voice if I want.
He asked if you guys understood litigation. That was the question. And I just wanted him to ask that privately.
Yeah, that's the private question he had to ask me. Yeah, I'll take his voice if I want.
Okay, now it's time for member shoutouts. I'd like to thank Jessica, Chronically B Queen B, Dominus Pneumonia AK, Cocoa Puffs, the Tennessee Vol Mom, Nancy P, Troy Anderson, Stina Marie, Sheila Foster Swanson, Jay, Dottie Morgan, T King, Noah Night Fox Anime, Keeping Up with KP, Atticus Finch, Absinthe 12, Lufa, Plays and Rain, Spurgy, Sherry Landscaping, Sassy Naws, Sassy Elmo, Sweet Home Alamanda, Trisha Biggs, Tifa, Crystal, Shermar, JJ, Sky Vision, Karma Kid 101, Sleepy Superhero, Shazzy, Mingo Mish, Camilla, Karen Bluebird, Leah, Laura Nelson, Christ Conflict, Jeanette Stevens, Yellow Submarine, Sarah Loves Donuts, Mary HB, Lil Red Y'all, Kelly Gentry, Not All Who Wander, Enough is Enough, Chanley Dish, Chicken Cakes, Susan, Crystal, Pink Flamingo, Claire S. Bear, Lizzie Stardust, Babibbity Bobbity Boo, Aussie Mum, Jen Gerard, Sensibly Morbid, Poodlerific, Larissa M., Tina Colry, Rita Roo, and Yoo-Hoo Shoo Shoo. Thank you again for joining, and thank you everyone for watching.